Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. You might have made one going to
Mercy
Tallahassee.
if y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shelly, you, hoodie girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Beat the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets after buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We get buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Buckets. It's a two-man dynamic duo tonight. We got myself, Matt. We got Vish. Vish, how are we doing tonight, man?
Well, I mean, title of the show says it all, dude. The title of the show says it all.
Well, you know, Bob Leach was looking forward to this. I think he was the only one.
We got some old friends in the chat. Kings today, Dan Berry, Evan, my co-host on our F1 show. So we got some friends around, David Scott. Yeah, we're gonna get into this. Fortunately, they're green class signs already.
Yeah, so we're good on that front.
Yeah,
not on other fronts though.
Yeah, and NIT is a stretch. We're not even on the bubble at this point. So
yeah, we're maybe CBI.
I mean, I don't know that we necessarily have players to play it, to be honest, for shallow as it is, and I don't know who's sticking around, but we'll get into that. I think as part of the show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bryce as well. Friend of the show.
Shout out Bryce. So
yeah, we are absent Melissa. She had a personal commitment, so
yes,
this was kind of impromptu.
Is not here.
Yeah, this is kind of impromptu. Matt got back from Costa Rica.
I'm back. Got back last night.
I got COVID, but we scrambled to get this show out. So
still make it happen.
Yeah,
still show up.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
I guess before we dive into the disasters of the men's team, we should shout out. It is National Women in Sports Day, and we are a basketball show. We do cover the women's program, which is doing significantly better than the men's program. Shout out to Katie Meyer and that whole crew over there. Went to an middle school today and volunteered. They play Clemson tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you're in the Miami area, $5 tickets. Get out there, support them. With that said, elephant in the room.
So obviously I wasn't able to watch this game. I more followed it via box score stats, which is completely different. I didn't have access to Cell Network for the entire second half because I was going to see sea turtles. So we were in a remote beach. So long story short, get back to the bus, load up the phone, see 200 messages in our group chat, the Buckets group chat. I'm like, oh no, this can't be good. Immediately go to Twitter, see the final score, get very confused because I thought it was the halftime score. And then I was like, wait, what? This doesn't make sense. And I'm like, wait, we scored 38 points in the entire fucking game.
And went on a nice little run towards the end to get to 38. So
And so
the offense was worse than 38 points. For most of the
wait,
game.
did you just say went on a nice little
Yeah,
run?
we strung some buckets together against their
I know, it
walkouts
just
to elevate up to 38. I mean, I was afraid we weren't going to break 30 for a while there. It was, like I said, the score was we're actually worse offensively than the score showed.
yeah. So I know, obviously, I wasn't able to see the game. I watched snippets of it. How much of it was us not hitting shots, their defense affecting us? You know, like what percentage would you kind of gauge it at?
It was both. Like I mean, and I can pull the box up, but as you know, we shot 2 of 20 from 3. I would say most of those are looks we would want to be taking. Look, we are a perimeter shooting team.
Yeah.
I think what ended up happening though is the response to those shots not going in early. You know, a couple of them went in and out. A couple of them are bricks, just flat out. But they're not necessarily like shots you're like, oh, don't take that shot. Just weren't going in. Our response was to try and not stick with the offense, but force the drive into the paint, which is exactly what the pack line defense eats that up. And that's when the turnover started and it just snowballed from there. Whether or not, you know, had we stayed within touching distance, some of those shots might have fallen better. I don't know. But yeah, we didn't make open shots, which then we exacerbated it by forcing. The last thing you want to do is try to drive the ball into the pack line. Part of the defense. You know, that's what we were doing.
Well, and I think too, there's a difference between like driving directly into the help and trying to pass or do something like as soon as you're double teamed or like they're about to strip you versus like taking one dribble, waiting, like it's all about timing is what I'm trying to say. Right. And I feel like if there's anything about this team is they don't understand the timing of it. I mean, you see the stats with turnover percentage. I mean, we're 193rd in college basketball right now in turnover percentage, which is god awful for a team that's supposed to pride itself on elite guard play with the style we play, right? I mean, that's horrid compared to the past 2 seasons. So, I mean, we've shown that we have questionable decision making, right?
Yeah, and I think part of it's definitely like, and we once again had those situations where we're throwing the Hollywood passes, and it's just, you know, you might get it there 1 out of 5 or 6. It's not, and then these are not high percentage passes. I mean, Norwich had tried a couple more no looks that got stolen. I don't know you're the center, dude. Just make a 2-hand chest pass and like move the ball. Like, you don't need to be doing that. But also, I'd say generally as a team, we're way too comfortable trying to dribble into and through traffic. And a lot of those balls get tipped and stolen, and that was definitely the case here as well. And then obviously, I mean, David Scott asked the question. This is certainly part. I mean, Keyshawn getting injured 4 minutes into the game was certainly not something we can afford. We can't afford to have there's 6 guys on this team that are actually good. Or capable of playing well, and we can't afford to not have any of them. So whether
the drop off is way too
right. So whether it's been this year, it's been Nigel, it's been, you know, then it was Wooga, then it was Matthew, Norwich had missed a game, and now Keyshawn. Like, you can't afford to have any of those guys missing, and throw Bensley in there if he gets hurt. You can't afford that either. So we've just had rolling people out. With that said, this performance to David's question, it's definitely more than just that. You know, we were fully healthy when Kentucky blew us off the court in a very similar manner to something we've seen repeat multiple times this year. So it's not just, you know, Colorado too. We had the whole team there. No one was injured. So it's not just, you know, the injuries. The injuries, I think, have hurt. But we've also, I mean, look, we were more competitive against Wake Forest and Syracuse than we were in some of these other games. And that's with injuries, right? So, I mean, I don't know.
It's. I mean, obviously, you know, we talk about the injuries. We've dealt with a significant amount of them, more so than the past 2 years. You know, it's a fact. You know, I'm not using it as an excuse, but I feel like this is the time right now, like where you start to see teams kind of like not reach their ceiling, but kind of like progress together, you know?
Right.
And I feel like we haven't seen that because of all of the injuries. Guys are not playing with each other. Oh, that sounded so pause. Guys are not building that chemistry through playing together on the court. And it's tough. I mean, basketball is a game about chemistry. Like, you know, like you look at UNC, the team that we're going to play this season, you could argue that the talent they have this year is not as good as the talent they had last year, but the pieces fit better together, right? Like you can have really good pieces that don't fit together. So it's going to be...
To answer David's question, we haven't gotten an update on that yet. There is no press availability. Normally they do press availability on Monday, but because we were playing, Coach L wasn't part of the ACC one where they do 10-minute spots with every coach. Since we were playing that day, didn't do it. We're going to get into Coach L's behavior on Monday in total, but the press conference was one sentence and he walked out. So
I forgot about that.
I mean, we're going to get into it. Him, like, I mean, I don't. We're going to talk about his behavior on the bench as well. But his press conference was literally, he beat the press into the room, was sitting there when they got in. Someone asked a question about what changed after the beginning of the game because we were actually up 7-2, believe it or not.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it kind of went bad from there. And he said the game essentially was his answer, and he walked out. So we don't have an update on that. The fact that, you know, they taped it up and then he couldn't go is not a great sign. I don't know. Doubt he's going to be 100%, but we'll see if he plays or not. There's been nothing coming out of, again, there hasn't been a press availability to really ask since he to be honest blew off the press conference after the game, which is when you would normally have asked that.
Yeah. I mean,
so look, the Virginia game went sideways. We didn't shoot well.
Yeah.
You mentioned, I do want to unpack a little bit. You know, you mentioned the team chemistry. I think that's definitely part of it, right?
Yeah.
But we did have 5 guys on the court that are used to playing together. And
yeah, no, I'm saying more from like a general perspective.
No, I get it. No, but I get it. But I think I don't know what the right answer is, because I mean we can talk about Nigel Pack's shooting, you know, falling off, especially over the last week, right? He struggled against Virginia Tech too and was 0 for 8 against Virginia. Some of that might be in the amount of minutes he's playing. So maybe there's some merit to extending out some of the backups, but I mean, that first half, once Keyshawn got injured, you know, we didn't actually have Bensley with the 4 other starters on the court for the next 12 minutes because he had Nwoko or Jobe out there the entire time. And, you know, as the game slipped, because again, we were winning when that injury happened, and he allowed the game to essentially get put away because you go down double digits against Virginia, you're basically done. They're going to take the air out of the ball. And without having those 5 guys on the court together, to me, that's not really acceptable. And I understand you can't just, especially when anyone gets injured, you can't just have 5 guys play 40 minutes. That's not going to happen. But I do think, you know, I think there's probably been a little bit too much of maybe this will work and giving guys run that, like, I mean, look, Joe Bay rewarded it against Pitt when he all of a sudden came in the game. This is the same guy who had not played since like the Stonehill game. And through the previous weekend, when Norchad was injured and, you know, Wooga got into foul trouble and Keyshawn got into foul trouble, Coach L chose to play Matthew Cleveland 40 minutes instead of put Joe Bay in the game. And the next game, he's giving him 20 minutes and then 20 minutes. And then he got double-digit minutes against Virginia. Like, there's no way a switch just flipped. And I do think it's a little bit too much, you know, guessing, oh, maybe this will work. He wants depth. I think we need depth. We just don't have it. And it's like facing reality of that. And to have first Nwoko for 3 minutes, then Jobe for 6 minutes in the first half of that game, and Virginia score 19 of their 29 points in those 9 minutes and only 10 in the other 11 minutes. and have Coach L just sitting there. And actually, multiple times he was trying to make a sub, but the ball never went out, and he just let it ride. And I'm like, dude, use the timeout, make the sub. We're getting killed out here. And he did allow the game to get out of hand in the first half with either Nwoko or Jebe out there for a majority of when it happened. He's got to adjust to what's happening there. Like, yeah, sometimes if someone gets 2 fouls, you got to leave them in the first half. We can't afford to not have Norchad on the court or to not. I mean, the Virginia Tech game, we came back and won. We lost that lead and almost lost the game because he sat Norchad for 12 minutes or whatever when he got a second foul. At some point, you got to just bring him back and roll the dice. Like, I think it's been a little bit too stubborn. You got to adjust to what you have, which is zero depth and a huge drop off to the backups, and just, extend everyone's minutes, have people play with fouls, because you can't afford to have these other guys on the court. And I don't know that we've seen that flexibility there. Certainly he was trying to buy minutes with Nwoko and buy minutes with Jobei. And it didn't work.
Yeah.
And the offense was never working, but there is a version of this game where you play Virginia in the 40s. But when you give up 19 points in 9 minutes, in a 9-minute stretch, because you're trying to buy minutes with Jobei and Nwoko, then it's over. Didn't
Jacob Groves have their first, he had 6 or 7 of their first points, I think?
I mean, the defense dropped off noticeably when we subbed for the reason you were talking about. Everyone's disconnected. They're not used to playing together. These are lineups that have very little court time together. And once you start making those subs, they were able to slice and dice the defense when we had any of the backups in, with the exception of Bensley, who's basically a 6th starter. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think he's got to be a little bit more hands-on. I think he's still trusting, because we do have a veteran team, them to play through things that they don't appear capable of doing. And we have allowed games to escape, but this Virginia game ended up getting blown off the court. It probably doesn't matter. But, some of those other ones, when you lose to Syracuse at the buzzer, God. the Wake Forest game with the Matthew Cleveland, the ball, goes halfway in and out, or you win that
toilets
game.
In and out. Yeah.
I mean, that is, those are tough. But then if you go, look, did he really need to sit Wogan Keyshawn the entire first half of the Syracuse game? Because they both got 2 fouls. He didn't sub the last 14 minutes. Did you really need to do that? Could you not have brought one of them back and said, let's risk this? All that stuff adds up at the end of the game when you lose at the buzzer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't feel he's been. I don't think this has been Coach L's best coaching job either, putting it mildly.
Yeah. I mean, I think the blame goes all around, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. But I don't know. So I want to get your take on something. I feel like in general, just from the whole season perspective, looking at this team and obviously you lose Jordan Miller, you lose Isaiah Wong. I thought that Nigel Pack was going to take that next step up, but he's kind of regressed in an expanded role. He's taking more shots, but his percentages are way lower. I think he's averaging the same amount of points as last season, maybe half a point more or something. I feel like this team doesn't really have a number one guy that you're going to give the ball to get a bucket when you really need it. And I feel like that's something you kind of need. I think it's something we had last year with Zay. I think it's something last year, no matter what he was shooting, you still were going to trust him to do it. I think even Jordan Miller at times last year too.
Yeah.
But also Cam Auguste the year before. I don't really feel like we have that this year. I feel like Norchad could be that, but he's been battling foul trouble. He has right now he has the 4th most minutes played, I think, in terms of percentage on the team, and that should not be the case. I think, are we both in agreement that he should have the most minutes played?
Yeah, I mean, he's the only guy you can't sub anyone in for without a major.
Yeah.
Foul,
so how do you feel about? I feel like basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is this team feels like a lot of guys that are kind of really good second, third option guys, maybe role players, but we don't really have that one guy that you can really
Yeah,
trust.
and even you mentioned Norchad, like it's harder to do that through a big.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the idea was Wooga would be that guy, and it hasn't happened. Some of his injuries, the whole season has an injury asterisk by it, right? Like as Moose says, we've everyone literally we have essentially 6 starters. The 5th one of the year just got injured. Like, I mean, it is what it is, right? So I think that has impacted Wooga some, but I think the idea was he would be the guy.
Yeah.
To do that, because Nigel's always going to need space to get a shot up. He's not going to rise up over people and get a shot up. I think the idea was Wooga would be able to do some of that.
Yeah.
Because frankly, at the end of a game situation, it's fine for Nigel to have the ball in his hands. Ball is probably going to come out of his hands because it's very easy to take away, an undersized 3-point shooter and force him to give the ball up. So I don't think he was ever going to be, so for Nigel and let him go to work because they can get someone bigger on him. They can crowd him. You can trap him and force him to give the ball up because he's really just looking to get his jumper off. I mean, again, we did at the end of the away game, we drew the play up for Cleveland.
Yeah.
We did get the look. It didn't go in.
You did get the look.
I mean, at Syracuse game, it ended up the ball found Bensley essentially after they trapped everyone else, but he had that baseline jumper usually makes he missed it. And then Syracuse went down, hit the 3 to win the game. So I mean, it's one of those years in a way, but yeah, we don't really have we don't to your point. And yeah, Jordan Miller stepped up at times, but we knew, if we need a bucket, the ball's going to Zay and he'll find a bucket. Like we don't have, it is kind of still by committee here. Part of it's probably injuries, but we've never really established any kind of a pecking order here. We don't know who we're going to get, what we're going to get out of anyone. I mean, Wooga on Saturday took 5 shots against Virginia Tech. Like, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
It's not, there's been no consistency from the players or from the coaches. And I think that's contributed to a lot of this.
No consistency with rotation,
Yeah, I mean, we literally had the Casey. This is when Bensley was still starting. Casey and George have established themselves as the 7th guy. Watson's a fill-in if someone's out. Within a week, it was like Nwoko and Jobé were the first off the bat. It doesn't even make any sense. Whether or not Casey should get minutes, I personally don't think so. Not based on anything we've seen. How can it oscillate that wildly from one game to the next?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. And I think that lack of consistency, you see it. It's one of the factors that contributes to turnovers. So I don't think it's been a good coaching job either. Obviously the injuries didn't help. A lot of the players were expected to step up have not.
Yeah. I think someone mentioned it too in the comments. I'd have to, I think, scroll up, but they were talking about, oh no, it's right there. It was Bryce. UNC coming into the Watt, pissed off after, getting upset by Clemson. Of course, I feel like everything that could go wrong for us, even things that we can't control, just somehow.
I don't think that matters, to be honest, because I think, we're not a good basketball team. It's the reality of it. And so whether or not UNC, if UNC had won, we'd be like, oh man, they're on fire. They just beat Duke and Clemson. They're going to kill it. There's no glass half fulling any of the crap that's going on. If we don't come out and play really well, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
And frankly, if we play anything related to how we played against Virginia Tech, which was a win, we're going to lose.
Yeah. Well, we're not just going to lose.
Yeah, we're going to need to elevate to a level we really haven't seen.
And we're 100% out of the tournament.
I mean, we're pretty much are anyway, just to see where, like I said, we're not even, if you pull up a bubble analysis, we're not on it.
Yeah.
So first we have to play our way onto it and then play our way off it on the other side. So There's 8 games left. 4 of them are quad 1 opportunities, but you basically have to win all of those.
Well, so this is what I'm getting at. Like, there's people on Twitter saying like it's still technically possible, but possible and plausible are like 2 different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This team is. I don't see it. I'm looking forward to coming to see the ACC tournament with you, but not to watch basketball.
I mean, it'll be to see the end of the season.
Yeah,
that's what it'll be. No, I mean, look, Clemson was different last year than this year. Every scenario is different. If it's not going to happen, let's just put the cards on the table, right? If the Canes were to win out, there are 8 games left. That would include 4 quad 1 wins added to their resume. That means their net rating would all of a sudden be in like the 20s or 30s. All of a sudden, all the numbers would rise together. They'd end up finishing in conference 14-6. All of a sudden, you're in. Like, I mean, that's not a problem. Now, obviously, they're much more likely to go 0-4 in those games than 4-0. Let's be real here. So, like, this ain't happening. But, I wouldn't – that's why you don't have to worry about the bubble or anything because, like, look, if they win all these – even one more loss will do it. Like, you need to basically win all of these games because, again, whatever happens, they still were carrying bad losses. And, yeah, Virginia would have been a quad 1 game for us, but when you lose by 22 –
and it's the third game you lost by more than 20, right?
Right. So even the losses that, are to good teams, like you lose at Kentucky, no shame in that. It is when you get blown off the court. That matters.
Yeah.
And then obviously a couple of bad home losses as well to FSU and Louisville. So those are all on your resume already. The only way to make up for that is to win all 4 of those quad 1 games. It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna go into UNC and win and go into Clemson and win, beat UNC and Duke at home. It's just not gonna happen. And so he was trolling last night too. I've had it. So don't jump on Miami shows and like rip into Miami teams. Like, it's not useful. I remember you from last night. You know what I'm talking about.
There you go.
We're not COVID. Vish has no patience.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a 2-year fluke. The Elite Eight and the Final Four was all fluky. Not Syracuse's 20% 3-point shooting or 3 at the buzzer to beat us, right? Yeah. What was the fluke, dumbass? Anyway, let's talk about Coach L's behavior on Monday. So basically, after the first time out of the second half, he sat on the bench by himself, and an assistant coach handed him a laptop, which he was looking at. And then on every time after that, he just sat on the bench by himself. What do you think's even going on there? Like, seriously, what is that? He basically said, I'm not coaching this team anymore. It's like, I don't, what do you think you,
man.
Was it just let me ask
so
the
obviously
this way: was it just like an emotional reaction where he was just fed up and he's like, "I'm done for the night," or do you think he was actually some intentionality to it, or
there might have been some intentionality?
Like, was there like a big picture thing, or?
I mean, it might. Maybe he's, I've tried all these different things, not reaching to these guys. Maybe it was emotion, frustration. Maybe it was him trying to do something. But either way, it's just like, I mean, I get it, but like, I think it's a bad look as a coach.
I agree. I mean,
I think it's a terrible look.
This is all fine. It's unbecoming of the head coach. Look, your responsibility as the leader of the program is to stand in front of the shit performances too. What he basically said is, these guys I don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm going to go sit in the corner. No, it's your responsibility. You're in charge there. And you'd have the players huddling, talking to each other, whatever the hell was going on the court. To have him sit again, not a good look, and I don't think it's right for the head coach to be doing that. He should have been owning it a lot more than he did. It's his program.
Yeah. I just don't see how that helps the situation. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe you realize that this game is done and like moving forward, it sends a message, but like, I just don't think it's the right message, essentially just giving up. Like, I've never believed that. I don't know.
And I think, whether or not there was anything to even do at that point, because there wasn't. I mean, the players were still taking it seriously. They were out on the court, because the way, if you haven't been to our games or haven't noticed on TV, they put the players' chairs out on the court. The 5 that are going in the game sit down. Everyone else huddles around them. They were essentially doing that without the coach there.
Yeah.
So they were still, for better or worse, going through the motions. The players were talking in the huddle. One of them was like giving the talk that the coach should be doing. I just don't think that's good for anything. Like I think you gotta own it there.
Throw the walk-ons in.
Address the team in private. Like, this is.
Yeah.
I sat through that game. You can too, buddy. Like, you're coaching the team. Go coach the team. Like, I don't know.
Well, and like based on how the post-game conference went too, like, I mean, to me, it kind of spoke to like it was an emotion type thing. You know what I mean? Not like something that he was trying to do to, get out of his players.
Yeah, he's frankly way too old to be doing shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta check that and do your job, and be bigger, be a bigger man than that. Like, it is what it is. Sure. I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure about about halfway through the second half when Norch had tried the no-look pass for the 3rd time and it got stolen for the 3rd time. He's just like, what the hell? And just feels like giving up. But you can't do that. You can't do that, man. I would love to know what he was looking at on the laptop. I mean, it was an ugly game, and I think he probably added to the ugliness a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know, that's a look you want from your head coach, for somebody's got to figure out how to connect with this team. Several of these players have been with him for a couple of years at least. So, I mean, these are his guys.
Yeah.
He kind of sold them out. To me, I view that too as kind of like, not my fault, not my problem. And it's like, dude, it's your team. It is your fault. It is your problem.
100%.
Like, it's not your fault players are getting injured, but I don't know. It was your fault for not getting Jobé out of there when they were going on a 12-0 run and you just let him run it out with Wooga sitting at the scores table. That was your fault.
Just from the perspective, I would love to know what was going through the players' heads when they saw their coach sitting on the bench, the laptop.
What could he possibly have been looking at?
I don't know.
Is he watching a movie? Like, what was happening?
He was reading you live tweeting the game.
I hope he saw where I pointed out that they scored 19 points with backups in the game in the first half in 9 minutes out of the 29 points they scored.
He's probably playing solitaire.
I mean, I don't think he goes more advanced than that on the computer game, so maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that all right.
Okay.
So we're sitting here now. We're 6-6 in conference.
Oh my god!
North Carolina coming to town on Saturday. What the one I guess the silver lining is, there's a long layoff here. So we're doing a baseball show live from the team store on Saturday. The show's basketball. All right, so show up there 10 a.m. Jazz and I'll be there live. Okay, so back to hoops, buckets. So there's basically almost a week layoff here to I don't know what kind of exorcism. It is Miami.
mean,
maybe you sacrifice a goat. I don't know, but
you have to have Keyshawn healthy, right? Like, I mean, I don't even know how healthy the other guys are too at this point.
right.
Pretty banged up with everything. I don't know if we can. I don't think we can win this one, man.
Yeah, no, I mean
It's
we're definitely going to be the underdogs, but
oh yeah, 100%.
okay. So let's say this: you're all right. It must have been a fun flight home from Charlottesville Monday night. So you land back in Miami.
Yeah.
All right. If you're Coach O, you've calmed down now. You've thrown your very public temper tantrum. Now it's in the rear view. Now it's Tuesday morning. You're heading into the office here. What do you need to do between Tuesday morning and Saturday afternoon to get this team ready to play, ready to compete on the court? I get. Look, even healthy, UNC is a better basketball team than we are, right? So we don't even know if Keyshawn's going to be healthy, but just from a mental standpoint, how are you even ready? Like, because we came out okay against Virginia. We're up 7-2 early. We were executing okay. We were playing really good defense, and then we got hit in the mouth and folded. The coach threw a temper tantrum, basically quit, and now 5 days later, you have the best team in the conference coming in. How do you mentally rehabilitate that and get this team ready to play? What is your approach here? Let me put it this way: do you break out the tape and go through it with this team and say, try and make some tactical, like, hey, don't be doing this, you see this coverage is how, or do you just say, you know what, that game was hell, fuck that, flush it,
but it's like too, like, I mean, you've been in tough games before, right? Where you I mean, this is more so as like an athlete, like in high school or whatever, like, you have these tough games, right? And you watch film and, you feel like you're at that point where you're like, okay, this was our worst performance. Like, we played awful. Like, these are the things we need to do. I mean, we've had I would count Louisville as one of those performances. I'd count the Virginia game. I'd count Kentucky. I would count Colorado. That's a lot of games to have in that nature. I mean, it's almost like we have, how many games left do we have? 8? Yeah, 8 games to perform a miracle, right? So 8 games.
Yeah, 8 games. 4 of which are against the quad 1 teams. Like, this could go very bad.
Yeah, this could go very bad. I mean, I think this game is either competitive or we get blown out.
Well, I think one of the issues is we're definitely a team that's very confidence related. If the shots start going in, we are capable of playing at a really high level.
Yeah.
We're capable of playing with anyone. We have zero confidence right now.
No.
How do you somehow get out on the court on Monday? I mean, on Saturday with confidence that, hey, we can win this game?
I mean, I think,
because I can tell you right now, if we start the game off and Nigel knocks down a couple of threes, everyone's going to start feeling good on the team. He is such a bellwether for how the rest of the team plays. When he starts making shots, everything seems to go well. When he's not, it's not. How do you even mentally after what just happened there?
Yeah, North Carolina is a team that likes to play fast too.
Right, and that's one of the reasons I asked about maybe flushing it's almost a polar opposite style from Virginia.
Yeah.
So is there any benefit to revisiting that game? Or if you're Coach L, obviously this is all already happened, but yesterday morning, do you gather and be like, look, that was a disaster. We all know that's not acceptable.
Yeah, I think
I take responsibility for that too. Let's move on. We got UNC coming in. We got a lot of time to prepare for this game. Let's go kick their ass and just move forward. Or do you actually open that tape up and start
Yeah, I don't think you open the tape up. I think we've watched enough tape. I think that this game is completely different. I don't think it accomplishes that much. But man, sorry, I'm just like, I can't believe we lost by 22 and only scored 38. But I'm sorry, but
I mean, this is not a unique thing that's happened to us against Virginia. It's happened.
yeah, no,
sometimes,
but I
right?
mean, it's not. I mean, it's happened before, but it hasn't happened where we've had like other losses that are just as bad, if not worse, right?
Yeah, no, it's been
And
rough.
and
yet, you know,
I think that like going into the North Carolina game, we'll get all the answers like with how they come out, right? Like we'll know in the first few possessions whether, I don't want to say like we're gonna win, but like whether it's gonna be a competitive game or it's gonna be a blowout. I think, because it's like you said, it's about confidence. It's, if you hit a couple shots, you're gonna play better defense, right? You're gonna be more active.
right.
But I think we'll know in those first few possessions based on how these guys come out, especially on the defensive side of the floor, because I think that's going to really help us offensively because of how much better we are in transition and how many more opportunities we get in transition.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know where we go to pull the confidence from.
Yeah, I don't either. But I mean, maybe you're just like, hey, everyone's counted us out already. No one thinks we have a shot. We felt like this before, let's like shock the world type of thing. But I don't know if this team has it at all, to be honest. I really don't.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a loaded question.
Okay.
Do you think they care? And I don't mean that from the standpoint of do they care. I think they had big dreams this year. Do you think at this point it's like the wind is just so out of their sails they're not capable of obviously they care. Like you don't get to this level without caring. And I think coming into the season they really, we had big dreams and not just us. I was the only Miami media at the ACC tip-off, and this team expected to compete for the ACC championship, be a high seed in the NCAA tournament, and was as high as 7th going into that Kentucky game, and to go from there to here and now say, well, let's we can do this and run 8 games off in a row and get into the tournament. Like, I think if you ask the team in November, with the schedule in front of them, they would say, of course we can win those 8 games. I think now it's so hard. And so when I say, do you think they care? I mean, do you think they have the ability to
I think they care.
Dig deep and find it is more what I mean than care. Care is probably the wrong word.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I'm just going to use the word you used to. I think they care about winning, but I don't know if they really care about all the little things that go into winning, right? Like in terms of like, I mean, I know we said that this is a reflection of like guys have been out and whatnot, but like the turnovers that we've seen that have been like just horrendous, the late rotations on defense, the way we execute ball screens and whatnot. It's just we haven't seen it unless there's like a sudden switch. I just don't think we will see it. I think that our shooting has really carried us in some games, and covered some blemishes, but I don't think so, man. Sorry, I just kind of went on a little tangent, but like,
no, I mean,
I don't think that they like. I think there's a lack of like understanding of like the self-sacrifice it takes in some areas to win, to be honest.
Yeah, like, and I would say we also expect to be able to shoot our way out of whatever problem arises, and
Yeah. Well, it's like
it's just not
we've
gonna
leaned
happen.
on defense like these past 2 tournament runs, right? Like we weren't the best defensive team, but I mean, I reference this stat all the time. We had the best defensive efficiency going into the Elite 8 game 2 years ago. Obviously, we ran into Kansas.
We had a bad
and
half.
yeah, bad half. And then last year, our defense was I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but it was pretty solid in the tournament, and like it was an improvement over the course of the year. And we would fuel our offense by getting these stops or forcing turnovers to create opportunities on offense, and I don't really feel like we do that as much, and I feel like there is more breakdowns and miscommunications, and I don't know, man. It's weird.
Well, I also think one of the problems. I mean, we mentioned, and actually, good point. Is I was about to talk about Zay and Jordan Miller to an extent as well. We don't have half court players on this team, and
Well,
the reaction to when things are going bumpy, which you actually want to slow the game down, make sure you get a good shot. We can't slow the game down and get a good shot. We either speed up to try and generate looks, or we slow down and it just gets worse.
Yeah.
And I think that's also fueling some of the turnovers. We're like forcing pace when it's not there, just because that's our only option. We don't really have a good half court.
Yeah, well, and I think too, it's because I keep going back on this. We lost Jordan Miller, who in the half court, he kind of was that like how you feed the post when your offense is kind of struggling to try to buy something, to get back in the game. He had that kind of, ability to get to the basket. He didn't force a bad shot. He wasn't going to take a bad shot, and was really smart with the ball. He was one of the most efficient players on offense in terms of like field goal percentage and whatnot in the country. And then you have Zay, who could literally slash and get to the basket whenever he wanted.
But also
drew a lot of fouls, which I don't think we actually have this year as well.
Well, he also was able to just basically make 90% of his mid-range shots. So
yeah,
the fact that you could get it to him and he could pull up from mid-range and score makes the game a lot. We're turning it over so many times trying to force it all the way to the rim, like you said, not drawing fouls, because again, we don't really have that ability. It's almost just like, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to charge out of control into the lane and try to get to the rim. Got to get all the way to the rim because they don't got a mid-range game. And I think that's also leading to a lot of turnovers. A lot of them are over-dribbling and trying to force it, Someone like Matthew Cleveland, I would expect to be a little bit better in the mid-range than he's shown. He's someone I think is going to have to step up big time in the scoring department. Well, he is probably one of the few players in the team that's capable of generating good 2-point looks. And we need that. He's going to have to step up a lot.
Yeah. And the other thing you lost too with them, just to wrap it up talking about them too, was like in terms of like ball security, they were both elite with how much they had the ball in their hands too. And the guys that we have now, it's not the same. So
yeah, and then also we lost a lot of depth. Like Harlan Beverly would be getting a lot of minutes on this team, and he rarely turned the ball over. And we put in the backups now; they're kicking the ball all over the court. It's some that's because they're freshmen. You replace someone that Harlan Beverly been here like 57 years. You replace some of the freshmen, it's going to be a learning curve. But when Anthony Walker was shooting his 3-pointer, he wasn't turning it over; he was getting a shot attempt.
Yeah.
So all of that matters. Those guys have played, they were certainly flawed players. They were not stars or anything, but they played a lot of basketball. And, we tried to get AJ Casey and Chris Watson more time. It didn't work. So now we're going to freshmen that ideally would not be getting any minutes this year. You're going to get more turnovers, more mistakes, more blown coverages, more all of that. Just the nature of the beast. So It's been a lot lost off of last year's team, and really the only addition was Matthew Cleveland, in terms of like really like, okay, that's a guy you should expect contributions from, and
Yeah.
and then literally now we've had 5 starters get injured this year, so. You know, it's bad. It's bad. And Keyshawn technically has not missed a game yet, but he missed like 90% of the last one. So
Yeah. He missed a game. Yeah.
Yeah.
He played for what, 4 minutes?
Yep.
Jeez.
And every other starter has missed at least one game.
Yeah.
And most of them have. In fact, Norwich has the one who missed only one. Everyone else
Last
missed
year,
one.
because I kind of have it up, I think, yeah, only
Nigel missed FSU.
Nigel missed 2 games.
Okay.
And then everyone else, I mean, that's like regular season, I think, just counting regular season.
Well, Norwich had
Because
technically.
Norwich had missed Duke.
Well, he played though. So it counts as a start.
Oh, yeah, that's why. Okay.
'Cause he got
That's why.
injured right at the
I was
beginning,
thinking he
so.
was just, yeah. So,
Yeah, that was completely different.
oh, man.
With that said, look, it's North Carolina at home. I mean, they've lost to Georgia Tech
Yeah.
on the road.
I mean, I don't think, like, North Carolina is so good that this is, like it's a 0%. Like, I think we're a talented enough team to do it. It's just, I don't think it's likely.
Well, I mean, we're in a bad spot, right? And I
Yeah.
think, the first 30 minutes of the Pitt game, really the only time we're looking like a really good basketball team, and then we almost lost. The last 10 minutes were that bad. That's really the only time recently, really since the Clemson game.
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson won in North Carolina. We handled Clemson pretty easily at home. So I mean, things have changed since then. We got to somehow rediscover some of that. Still a capable basketball team. We're 6-6. We're not like 0-12, and we've seen significantly worse teams. So, 2 years ago, or 2001, we were 4-15 in conference. So, you don't have to have a long memory.
Oh, shout out to Mike.
Yeah, no, we did not. So yes, no L's tonight. No Coach Elling on Monday and no L's tonight.
I'm glad we get a break and,
Well, I mean, the schedule is very weird because in addition to, well, I mean, look, that Virginia game was also on like a 1-day rest. Not ideal to have to go play that team at that point. Now, obviously, they also played on Saturday, so it's like they had more rest than we did. But that's not – you don't want to go play that team with no rest. Certainly not on the road. So that was kind of a setup a little bit for us to lose, but still no excuse for how we played. But, we do does give us a lot more time to prepare for Carolina. And then, game after that is at Clemson. Then at Boston College, then another short turnaround it's Duke. I'll pull the schedule.
And then Georgia Tech and then UNC again. So that's
right.
6.
Well,
that 6-game stretch is like UNC, Clemson, Boston College, Duke, Georgia Tech, then North Carolina.
Yeah, but
and you play North Carolina with a day in between, like after Georgia Tech.
Yeah, so here's the upcoming schedule. And then to your point, North Carolina's on a Monday, but then here's the weird thing. So you get this game, and then we don't play for like 9 days.
Wow.
This is what happens when TV makes the schedule.
Hey, honestly, I mean, after that UNC one, we might need it.
I mean, if we're still somehow breathing after that, I'm skeptical. getting a reset there, and then all right, can we just beat Boston College at home and beat Florida State?
Man,
It's a pretty good place to
Vish,
be.
we might not be we might not be debuting the hoodies until next year.
So Melissa made a call and said the women's team counts. So we will be debuting the hoodies at some point.
There we go.
Because the women are about to run off a bunch of wins. So, I mean, the way our team is, we'll beat Carolina and Clemson, then lose to Boston College by 30.
Oh God. Oh.
But again, with the 8 games here, you've got. I don't know why Duke's ranking isn't here. They're obviously ranked. There's some rankings missing, but in terms of just the quadrants, which is what actually matters, these are all quad 1 games. So you could all of a sudden have 5 because the Clemson already is 1 quad 1 win. You could have 5 quad 1 wins all of a sudden to have like one of the stronger bubble resumes.
I forgot we still have to play Florida State at Florida State too.
Which might also, it's going to be either it's quad 2 or 1, depends on where they land on the.
Yeah, well, I mean, their record is more impressive now, I think. Well, even though they lost to Louisville.
Yeah, I think it's likely to be a quad 2. If you're not familiar with how the quadrants work, it depends on where they're ranked, and then, it gets upgraded if it's a road game and all this weird stuff. But yeah, we still play Boston College twice. That's something.
Wow.
Save those big marquee games for the end of the season. But yeah, so there's 4 like legitimately, resume building win opportunities is what we'll call them. I'm very skeptical. Again,
yeah,
I stand by what I said earlier. More likely to go 0-4 than 4-0 in those games. And honestly, like 3-1 won't do it. Not with the way the rest of the resume is. You got to get all 4. Had you lost to Virginia competitively, maybe 3-1 would have done it. Because that was another quad 1.
A lot of it is dependent on how the rest of the ACC goes too, right? But
well, yes and no. I think our resume has multiple blowout losses. I mean,
this is true.
And our we have the 1 win against Clemson. Kansas State's an okay win. They're on the bubble. That's kind of it. So
Georgia's not a bad win.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, they're fine. But
they've they've dropped a few in the SEC. I forgot they lost to.
I mean, the Virginia Tech wins are better than that. Certainly the road one.
Yeah.
So I mean, so we have some okay wins, but to make up for losing to Florida State at home, losing to Louisville at home, getting blown out badly 3 times, you gotta stack the high quality wins. So it's got to be all 4. Got to be all 4, and you can't lose. Can't take any more bad losses. So it's got to be 8-0.
Maybe we can get Jaleel to enroll early.
He'd start right now for sure.
Hey, there's guys that have done it
in the middle of the season.
Yeah, Mac Etienne on UCLA. His freshman year when they made it to the Elite 8, he was a guy we actually recruited too. He joined UCLA at the end of the season. I don't remember how many games in it was.
Well, if he did I freeze or did you freeze?
But
you're back. Hold on. We got issues, and I can't tell if it's on your end or my end. Let's see. I think it's you. Well, we yep. All right. There's Kane's cat. He's so we'll have to get Matt back while I fill some airtime here. But I guess for those of you still hanging with us in the chat, if you want to put in what you think, all right, 8 games left, throw your record in there. And I guess maybe put in there, do you think it's more realistic for us to win these 8 games over kind of about a month stretch, or to win the ACC tournament? Because those are the only 2 ways into the big one. As Matt is officially gone now. Well, effort to get him back. Well, it's too late, but that will be live forever on YouTube. Matt is having internet problems. Told him to come back in via phone. But anyway, yeah. Do you guys have an opinion on that? Matt is married. His wife is Monica. Well, Melissa had a personal engagement. Matt was here until 2 minutes ago when his internet died. He is efforting to come back in. But anyway, feel free to answer in the chat. Do you think? Look, I think they're both. I totally agree. Bro. It ain't happening. But oh wait, hold on. We got cell phone Matt back.
Yeah. Sorry if the audio isn't the best. I had to join by my phone. I don't know what happened.
The camera is so much better on your phone.
It's the webcam on this laptop is awful, to be honest.
Max also had internet issues.
Oh man, that's what it is. Yeah.
So yeah, Bryce, I think we're all probably in agreement that's unlikely. But actually, Matt, the question I was asking when you disconnected. So
yeah,
if we're in agreement that 8 knows what it'll take in the regular season, is it more realistic for the Canes to do that over the next basically month, or to go on some kind of a run in the ACC tournament and win the ACC tournament? Which which to Bryce's point, is both very unlikely, low probability scenarios.
So
neither of those things are happening. We'll just say it bluntly. But before we get accused of saying you said that they were going to we're not saying that.
Well, I would say honestly, the ACC tournament thing, because like you have a couple upsets. You know, you get to play against a team that maybe isn't as good.
Virginia will be kicking around there somewhere.
Yeah, just hope Virginia is not anywhere near our side.
But always got going 500. Well, but this is the other part of that, right? So I guess let me look. Where would we be seated right now? Because it's not good. We do need to win some of these games to avoid having to play like on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I think you like win both of Boston College, right? At least hope you can.
Yeah, so we're in a pretty big tie for 7th through 9th. And I believe the top 10 teams, or the bottom, like 10 down, 10 to 15, play the first day, if I remember correctly. Does that sound right? I'm pulling that out of my ass.
I was trying to find the bracket, but then I realized that my computer is not working, so unable to do so.
Hold on. I will pull it and share it. Here we go. Let me incoming. All right, so this is the tournament. So yeah, the top 9 seeds get the first day off, which is Tuesday. So, you know, frankly, going 500 the West way, which is what McCoy predicted, would guess to 10 and 10 would almost certainly not be a bottom 10 seed. So I'd say at minimum we need to get top 9 to do anything, because if you start playing on Tuesday, you're basically done. There's no way.
Yeah, it's too tough.
Yeah, and so then, but you know, all the seeding matters, because again, if you're even the difference between you know, this is an 8-9 game, you get to 7, you're playing a team that had to play the previous day, so they're not rested, and you are. So all that stupid crap matters in terms of setting up a tournament run. But yeah, the Canes are going to have to win, you know, 4 games in 4 days at minimum, which is not easy to do because they're not going to finish top 4. which was what you need to do to get the double bye.
I would like to look up how many times a team has won the ACC tournament. Like, what's the how many
I
times?
want to
each
say
seed-
Virginia Tech did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but like how many times each seed has won? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got you.
I'm trying to see if I can get my computer back up because I don't want to hold my phone.
Well, I mean, if you don't have internet, then
Yeah, I'm screwed.
unless you can tether to your phone. Anyway, here's the layout of the schedule for those attending. So I don't know what time you want to go to games at, but Steve Barrett's on that too. For the speed for the late game the whole time. You end up at the okay, we got double mats.
We're back.
Back on the computer and the somehow shittier camera.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things when I read the reviews for this laptop. It was the webcam sucks ass. Like, it's awful.
I'll give you one when you come to DC.
I have one. I just need to connect it.
I'll give you one on a tripod so you can just like set on your table. Anyway, yeah. So minimum, if you're thinking like the tournament's the way in, gotta finish top 9. Which right now we're in a tie for that spot. These are the standings. There's not a lot. Ironically, Clemson would be playing on the first day. Still doesn't make sense. Yeah, we need to win some games to kind of move up here a little bit. And, again, top 4 is not really realistic. So we're really just looking to get a bye.
Yeah. I'm looking at like the history of the tournament, like what seed like won. I'm trying to find the lowest seed, but there's not a lot.
Yeah, it's like we said, very
Virginia Tech that one year was what, 7, I think.
I think that was only 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. But and you guessed it, Hunter Couture was still on the team.
Let's see. Look at the list of tournament champions, but they don't say what seed they were.
I'm guessing it was like 7th or... Oh, wait. Yeah, they were the 7 seed.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the magic number.
It's a magic number.
I honestly, I'm not sure if it might be more realistic to win 8 games over a month because they're spread out than to actually expect us to play 4 times in 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is like, I feel like in that short span of the turn, like if we just got like insanely hot from 3 and like, cause like that's the only way I would see it. And like, I don't see you doing that in an 8 game, like random span, but I think you can do it on a smaller scale in a tournament like that in like 4 games.
Yeah, I guess the reason I mean, look,
like we're not going to suddenly just start winning games because we decide that we want to play defense a certain way. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I think by spreading the games out, there is a chance to kind of have them be more independent events. Where, maybe UNC
because you're just expecting negative in the ACC tournament.
Well, I can't imagine 4 days of us playing well in a row like that. Yeah. Now, and I feel like we're gonna need to do that to come out that. And whereas,
hey, if we won the tournament, we can
win. There was a day off in between those. That wasn't even consecutive days. Those 2 games, but
it was a 4-team tournament, right?
I know we got a day off in the middle.
Oh God,
that's what we got to do. We got to move our games to that ballroom. That's where it all started going
I hear
down.
that's where the CBI plays. So maybe we'll win it all if
we're lucky we can get in there. No, but I mean, I could definitely see like you can beat Georgia Tech, Boston College twice, not playing very well.
Yeah.
and and so that's where I'm like, you know what? If we somehow chalk those up to win, we shouldn't chalk anything up.
Yeah, if we win those three and then just UNC twice and
twice,
Duke
Clemson, Duke,
Clemson at Clemson
at FSU. Yeah, those are. But those aren't like back to back to back to back to back. So I don't know. Obviously, again, they're both very low probability. So I don't know. Neither of those things is happening.
a walk-on.
Matt over here is a dirtbag. He will not be participating in our Hurricanes baseball. He has loyalties to another.
I'm a dirtbag.
Yeah, so you're going no chance on Saturday? That's where you've landed there?
No, I'm not saying no chance. Come on, man. I'll go like 0.2.
You know what? Let's pull up this ESPN.
You know what? I'll go the same percentage that as I learned when I saw the sea turtles, that a baby sea turtle makes it all the way to adulthood. I don't know if this is right, so don't quote me. You want to know what that is?
What is that?
1 in 1,000.
Well, ESPN's got us at 37%.
That's very nice of them.
It's actually really bad because like the home team is almost always favored on these. I don't know how they weight the shit, but like very, very rare to see the road team favored by that margin. It's even worse. Yeah, ain't pretty.
God. And you know, some guy like Cormac Ryan is gonna have the game of his life against us too. He's been shooting like under 30% from three, and he's gonna just drill like 10 threes against us.
I want to see effort. I want to see competitiveness. If you lose, you lose. I want to see the coach actually in the huddles. You know, I have small wishes on Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know, man. What is it, 4 Eastern?
4 Eastern.
Oof. Okay.
There,
I like them when they're just in the morning because I wake up, immediate either just disappointment or I'm happy. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
not at 1 p.m. That's a little worse. Got to wait a little bit. Sorry, 1 p.m. fake people time. Don't want to confuse people.
Yeah, that is on the West Coast where, yeah.
Any way we could somehow get Jack McClinton like on the court without them, you know?
I mean, at least he would shoot, man. This is what I know we took 23s, but we started hesitating, and that led to more turnovers. And like, if you're open, shoot the rock. I cannot stress that enough. Yeah, if you're open, shoot the rock. That's my one piece of advice for anyone on the team. Just shoot it. Otherwise, you're going to hesitate. You're going to turn it over. Like, if you're open from three and you don't shoot it because you don't have confidence and you try to drive, the defense is in the way where you're driving it too. You're going into the defense. Just shoot the ball. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. I got to say, height, least of our problems. I know we're all very hyper-focused on not having size. That is
if you look at
that's not the issue.
Yeah. If you look at the offensive rebound numbers, they're actually better than last season for sure. And then I don't know about the year before, but
I mean, when we got Cleveland back, like he's rebounding wise. We couldn't make a fucking shot against Virginia. I don't know what the.
I mean, if Norchad was 7 inches taller, or even 4 or 5, whatever, he wouldn't be here this year. He would have got drafted last year.
True. Yeah, the height's not really an issue.
Shit,
We don't.
he wouldn't have been in Arkansas State. He would have gone somewhere straight out of I don't
He
know.
would have like gone to Spain for a year and then
Get
they
drafted.
paid him. Yeah, got drafted out of Spain, and this is what would have happened. He never would have even come here. But yeah, we got to get Keyshawn back. He's got to play. And okay, so let's
We
kind
need the
of
fro. Can we be honest? Every game he hasn't had the fro, we've lost.
It's not even true.
No research has gone into that. I'm just saying.
I can tell. I can tell because it's definitely not accurate. We haven't lost that many games as ass as we've been. In a normal year, it would be like before and the NCAA,
I swear there's a correlation. It throws everyone off.
before the committee decided that the ACC sucked ass a few years ago, and therefore you have to like go undefeated in the ACC to make the tournament. You know, our current resume would have. Oh yeah, we're in. Just keep it at 500. We're good to go. And now it's like, you better be at least 10 games over 500 if you want to be a lock. So things have changed. Things have definitely changed there. Okay, so kind of close things out here. All right, so we definitely obviously hopefully get Keyshawn back. You got your 6 guys there. Based on UNC how they play, I've been saying this. I'm going to continue to say it. No one else needs to be on the court unless absolutely necessary for as little time as possible.
Yeah.
Out of those, after the 6 kind of air quotes starters, because Bensley's technically off the bench, but he can certainly get starters minutes, and that's fine. Other than that, I don't want to see those other guys, but I know they have to play a little bit. So against Virginia Tech, Nwoko and Jobe got the first call off the bench. They were both awful. Went to Casey after that and didn't sub anyone else in other than the 6 starters. Against Virginia, he went to Jobe and Nwoko again. In the first half, they were terrible, especially defensively. Everyone was terrible offensively. Everyone was terrible at games. You can't really, just point the finger at them. What do you think we're going to see? And also, keeping in mind UNC's personnel, obviously Baycot's a legitimate big. So if Norchad somehow gets into foul trouble, it's going to be Nwoko because Casey can't guard that position.
Oh man.
But what do you? I mean, it's been such a crapshoot. I think it's safe to say that Watson's not going to get a lot of minutes. Although, I guess if George is injured, maybe he will. Who the hell knows at this point?
Yeah, I mean, if George is, yeah.
Well, Jobe got the minutes last game when George was injured.
I'm taking it as who do I think, not who do I want, because I don't think I could answer who would I want to see.
No, I answered what I did, which was an unrealistic. Don't use any of them. So
go 4 on 5.
Better. Box and 1 without.
Can I ask you? This might be the wrong time, to ask, but why not just try Jakai, at some point?
To do what though?
I mean, what have you seen from the other guys? Just to at least try it, in these games where we're, you know what I mean?
I mean, his shot release is so slow. I already see North Carolina blocking it. No, I will say the one thing I will say is, and this is not the case with our other backups. I've never seen Chris Watson not play defense. And so I think at the very least, if you're I can't have any of these guys taking a shot or playing offense, I would give Watson the minutes because at least he'll play defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we got to just try Jakai,
What about Nick Asano?
Oh.
Well, we're at it.
He reminds me of a young Kevin Love, the body type.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, get him in there. Just, we've been sandbagging. That way UNC won't know what hit him.
Who's the walk-on that we have now? The guard. I can't remember. What is his name? He had 2 blocks in that game that he played where we were blowing someone out.
With Stonehill.
What was his name? What's his name?
He kept turning the ball over in that game.
There it
Yeah,
is,
it's
Carson Masson. Yeah. No, he's not on the team anymore.
Yeah, Gagokis isn't there anymore. It is Carson Masson.
Yeah.
He actually pissed me off in that Stonehill game because it got to halftime. Like Melissa and I were at that game, and I was like, "I'll bet you we don't have to score again. Like we would win without scoring in the second half." It was at halftime, and we were on pace to do that until Carson Masson came in the game and like turned it over 4 times in a row. They laid it up each time, and then they eclipsed our halftime total. Something only I was watching. I was like, "Almost did it. Almost did it." Fun times. Maybe North Carolina come out in a 3-2 zone and we'll just shred it. We've seen that before.
God.
Okay, so obviously, like, we don't have a solution, but what do you think Coach Al's going to do?
Like, who comes off the bench first?
Yeah, or like, who do you think's in the
Dude,
rotation at this point? Because it's
don't know.
literally been maybe that guy. Like, there hasn't been any consistency.
I think it just. I mean, if Norchad gets into foul trouble, I think it's Nwoko, right?
It has to be right with Bacon.
And then I think, I mean, I don't know, man. Like Watson, I love, the intensity he plays with on defense. You can tell he's trying on the defensive side, but it's just off. His offensive game is just like not clicked at all. Like we saw some flashes, like slight flashes at the start of the season, but I don't know. I can't tell you. I mean, Coach L doesn't know. How are we supposed to know?
Will he go into all of the huddles at timeouts?
Will he what?
Will he actually participate in the timeouts?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe not. He's going to be busy playing solitaire on the laptop.
Whatever the hell he was doing.
Or maybe he was doing some prize picks on the laptop or something. Well, no, that's an app. Never mind. You can't do it on the laptop.
I hope he wasn't doing prize picks, otherwise the NCAA is going to shut us down. So let's mention that. That is gambling, by the way. By the way, visit our sponsor, prizepicks.com. Offer code 5. That's the number 5 spelled out FIVE. Sign up for a new account and deposit up to $100. 5 reasons sports, and PrizePicks will match that. That's prizepicks.com. Offer code 5 FIVE. Yeah, good segue. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he, for some reason, thinks Joe Bay is a guy that he should give shots to. So I think we're gonna see him.
Yeah,
and I think this is a Noel game just because UNC has size and Casey is not. Although,
oh god,
we finally the Kessel Huts have met. By the way, so there hasn't been an update. There was no press conference on Monday during the day because the team was playing that night, and then Coach L blew off the post-game press conference essentially. So no one's had a chance to ask about the injury, so we don't know.
Did you pin the wrong comment?
I did pin the wrong comment.
I was like, what?
But that one, pretend that was up there the whole time. I turned it over, man. I'm sorry. I was just, sympathy turnover with the team there. Ran the wrong play. Then we're going to be like a 7 or 8 seed in the ACC tournament and have to win it. Of course not.
There we go.
Why would we do that? Build what for next year? These guys aren't going to be here. What are you talking about?
To build
what?
I mean,
the 3 best players on next year's team are in high school right
definitely
now.
going to score less than 38 if we do that.
What do you mean, why not? These guys are like Watson and Casey and all these young guys are transferring. What are we talking about? You want to bench Norchad and play Nwoko? No one's ever going to come here again. What the hell are we talking about? Yeah, all ACC players averaging like 17 and 12. Bench him for the ACC tournament to get Nwoko minutes. What's happening? Everyone's panicking. Norchad cannot play the 4. We've tried that. It's been terrible. He's got to play the 5. And then you're benching Cleveland? Like, come on. No, you don't do that. It's a bad message to everyone. You play to win the game, especially in a thing where if the tournament's an automatic into the postseason. Like you don't start messing around then.
Oh man. Well, Vish.
Anyway, so good times.
Are we doing a post game UNC?
Yeah, Melissa and I will be there. So yeah, we'll figure out what time. But yeah, we can definitely post game that thing.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Okay.
So sometime on Saturday there will be buckets with the full crew. Just to recap, there we are doing a baseball show from the team store that is in the Thesis Hotel across the street from campus, and right next to the ticket office is actually next door. They've moved it across the street, so stop by at 10 a.m. or of course it'll be going out live over YouTube as well. So if you can't make it out to the team store, we will be doing a little baseball preview then at the UNC game, and then we will do post-game buckets on Saturday. Those are kind of our next shows coming up on the 5 Reasons Canes network, which is our new branding. Definitely go find the podcast 5 Reasons Canes. You'll get this show, unfortunately, out on that feed, as well as all of our football and baseball coverage. Yes, we will go in the portal.
Yes.
Everyone is going to every year now. This is just the way it's part of recruiting. I think the first order of business will be who's still here. We do have a top 3 recruiting class coming in, so we have 3 freshmen that are going to get a lot of minutes next year. We'll see who comes back, who leaves, and fill out the roster that way. If Norchad is still here, which I don't know, that does dictate a certain style of play. So if he's not, you might see us go more for a traditional big.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of time to talk about that after Matt and I can do an impromptu right after we're eliminated from the ACC tournament. we'll be there together. So
oh man.
So yeah, we're gonna see that season end together in person. So
yeah, it'll be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, these are all questions we don't really know the answer to, but we'll.
Yeah, I think we just. Yeah.
Look, the 8 games matter, right? So we got to see how this plays out. So we'll. Yeah, this would change things. But it's again not optimistic there, but how the rest of the season goes will dictate quite a bit. So, and I will say, if Coach L behaves the way he did on Monday, I think we're going to see a lot of players in the portal. It's not a good look.
Yeah,
I'm honestly hoping he apologized to the team because he made them all look bad, and that's not something you want to see. But anyway, so Saturday, 4 p.m., sold out arena. They sold that game out. Go win a basketball game,
please.
Then you got 5 days to prepare for Clemson, a team you've already beat.
Just got to beat them at their place.
I mean, look, UVA just did that over the weekend by a point. We're clearly just as good as UVA, so should not have a problem. All right. Anything else you want to discuss here about as we wrap up here?
Not really.
Good times. Women host Clemson tomorrow, 6 p.m. Get out to the arena for that. They're going to kick Clemson's ass, so go have a good time. $5 tickets.
Yeah. Well, man, we ready or what?
We are always ready.
Are you saying it or am I?
I mean, you have to do it. I got to hit the button.
All
I know
right.
we're missing Melissa here, but
Cue the Sox outro.
Don't cry.
We get buckets.
Keep it chill. Wear good socks.
Buckets.